Thank you. Throwing me to the wolves, are you? Hello.
Scarlett, are you familiar with the character before or is this all new to you, this whole world?
It was all new to me. I mean, I had met originally with John and Kevin to kind of discuss a couple of, just to kind of talk to them about sort of some of the superheroines in the Marvel Universe, and Black Widow was one of them. But I didn't really know anything about the character until I delved into it, and then I started looking at the suit, and I was like, oh my god, I got to get into that. So it was a whole new world for me.
Scarlett, I read for Wizard magazine. It's a huge comic book base. Could you tell us any of the other female superheroines that you may have?
Let me see if I can remember them. Like Scarlet Witch was one of them. Blonde Phantom, is that the other one? And like Moon and kind of some. Yeah.
In the comics,
Am I messing that up? Because it is the Blonde Phantom, right?
I haven't heard of that one.
Well, then scratch that. That's my own superhero that I'm going to be bringing to this big screen.
in the comics, Black Widow used to be a KGB spy. She was Russian from Russia. Is your Black Widow Russian, and she at all tied into Mickey's character?
Well, you're going to have to wait and see. That would just be giving you too much. But she is. I will say that she's covert, and I think that she blends in. She blends in. You know, it's not like she comes onto the scene and they're like, "Who's that Russian chick?"
So you're not using an accent.
No. Mm-mm. I think that would be a little bit. It would be a little bit of a dead giveaway. I don't know how covert you would be if you're talking like this. You know, it's like. But I would have if I had to have. You know.
Could you talk a little about the physical challenges?
Sure. Well, I mean, like I said, it's all about the suit, and certainly, you know, for me, I don't want to, as an audience member, I hate to watch those action sequences where you just, you don't see any of the actor's face and it's all on the back of their head, and you're going, that's a terrible stunt double, or you get to know an actor's body and their mannerisms, and so for me, it was really important to be able to do the stunt work and to be able to fight and feel the fight within me, I suppose. And so it was just a lot of training and stunt training, weight training, all of that kind of stuff, strength training to try to, like kind of fit that mold. And I really, I wanted to, being able to like kind of look at something and say like, all right, I'm gonna beat the shit out of that person and believe it is, it's a challenge in itself, especially when you're 5'3" and you're fighting somebody who's, seemingly a giant, I suppose. To be able to be, to have conviction in that, and it was just as much a challenge as the actual physical part of it.
So when you came on board, did Kevin or anyone at Marvel explain to you, hey, this is what the part's going to be in this movie, but our plan is to take a storyline and extend it into an Avengers and go into a third Iron Man movie? Did they pitch it to you in that way, or was it just standard?
No, I wasn't pitched it at all that way. I mean, I think that certainly Marvel is about building these characters, building a fan base around these characters and being able to kind of extend their life in the movie world, at least. These are characters that they have a vested interest in. Obviously, the fans have a vested interest in, and it would be a shame to take a character like Black Widow, who has been around for so many years and has built such a fan base and had so many incarnations and can have so many different kinds of storylines and often interacts with many of the other characters in the Marvel universe, and certainly the Avengers being one of those examples, and not going ahead with it. So I think it's up to the fans. If the fans respond to the character, and I think Marvel works very much that way. They are sort of, they're fans of themselves, and so I think that they will kind of feel out what the masses are craving, and hopefully that will be Black Widow.
Did you feel, coming into the second one, how did you feel the evolution of the characters and the story occurred, and your place within that?
Well, I think that this, in my mind, this whole this story as it relates to the first one is a sort of it's kind of sort of, I don't know, I mean, I try to compare it with something like Hamlet or something, and it's that kind of dramatic second act where there's a huge climax and everything culminates in a character. You take a character who has, can kind of go in two different paths, and I think a lot of the characters in this film have to make a choice. And it's sort of, I think there is a kind of that iconic, like, good versus evil that sort of comes into play. It's not all gray area, there's choices that have to be made, and I think that a lot of characters in this are certainly forced to step up to the plate and realize how important they are, sort of how invaluable they are to humankind, and kind of decide, all right, I have this like all in the palm of my hand, and which way can I go, and and that to me is sort of it's epic, it's that kind of story, and certainly I think John has had that in his mind, that he wants, this is like the arc of the character, and hopefully the third installment will be the kind of culmination of that, whether it be good or evil. Of course, we hope that good always prevails, but I think there'll be like some kind of a different kind of fight to be fought, I suppose.
Will we see any romantic connection between you two characters?
You're just gonna have to wait and see. Thank you.
Kevin told us that the Marvel does 9-picture deals now, which is really unusual in Hollywood. Is that sort of anything that was like for you as an actress to sort of sign on to something as epic as that, 9 pictures, like tough?
Well, I think, as an actor, you always are able to, and I think certainly in this particular situation, I mean, I know Robert has had this. He's been able to, you kind of, you become invested in these films as much as the studio is, and you're able to develop your character with the studio and have a lot of input in that sense. So to me, that's exciting, because rarely as an actor do we get to take it to the next level. We see a beginning, a middle, and an end, hopefully, in 1 2-hour or so segment, and then you're done with it. But for me, to be able to build something and to think about, especially a character that has had so many different kind of histories and paths, to think about where she might go, and will we kind of find out more about her, and I feel like that's it's something like you invest yourself in, and you work towards. And Thank you. But of course, the whole beating the crap out of myself thing is a little bit daunting, but I'll do it. Oh, for the love of this. I don't know. It's some kind of like blend of girls or something. Thank you.